good, YouTube? Coming to you with the top 10 list. I'm still going to do the top 5 for all positions for the rest of the week, and then what to expect. But I'm going to knock down the top 10 players in the league. This is very hard. There's a lot of great players in the league. There's a lot of great players that superstars. Some is borderline superstars. Some is all-stars. And some is going up the right path to be a superstar. But there's a lot of things that make you a superstar, not just for the brand, the marketing, the business. I'm just talking about being able to carry a team, lead them to victory, lead them to the playoffs, win series, win playoff series. That's all what make a superstar, is carrying a team and being able to do and succeed as a basketball team in general. So with that being said, you have to be able to win a championship. You have to be able to win series, not just make the playoffs, not just do it once. This all factors in how dominant, how efficient, and how consistent you are as being as a superstar. Not 1 year, consistently being at the top of your game and among the elite players. That's what a superstar player is. Some players you might disagree with, but some players, I like this list. Kevin Durant, number 1. He shoots the three, mid-range scoring, everything. He basically an all-around player. The thing LeBron got over him is the passing, but they just as efficient. Kevin Durant, the better three-point shooter. He's the better free throw shooter. He just beat him in 5 games, and he's more clutch than LeBron. LeBron got him on the passing and the IQ, but Kevin Durant is catching up on him on that. But LeBron, he might be the better passer, but he's not the better defender and rim protector that Kevin Durant is. So I give it a slight edge to KD. LeBron is a second. He's getting older, but just like Vino, he's getting better with time, better assist numbers, better numbers in general. They say he was playing the best basketball of his career when he was in the playoffs, and you can't really disagree with that. He went to the finals, lost, averaged a triple-double, but he didn't achieve the ultimate goal, was winning the championship, and they couldn't even get 2 games. He couldn't stop KD in the clutch. Kevin Durant, it was his moment. He got to the finals. He haven't been there since 2012. He made the best of it. He was hungrier. He wanted it more. And every time they kept coming close to beating Kevin Durant, he hit the big clutch shots in the moments because he wanted the championship more than LeBron. So LeBron had to fall to 2. Kawhi 3. He stepped up against Memphis. He carried the team to 60 wins. He got out of the first round, got out of the second round. Then he made it to the Western Conference Finals without Tim Duncan and without a healthy Tony Parker. And even though he didn't play all the games, they played enough to get to the Western Conference Finals, and he won 60 games. He should have been MVP. If Kevin Durant or Steph Curry couldn't get it, it should have been to Kawhi or James Harden, but they gave it to Russell. Number 4, Steph Curry. He won 2 MVPs, averaged 30 on 50 and 40 and 90 almost. That's very difficult to do, to be efficient and dominant for 82 games is very hard to do. Not too many players can be efficient and dominant at the same time. And Steph Curry was able to put up one of the best seasons. Obviously, it didn't result in a title, but he was able to redeem himself this year and win one. Even though he wasn't the finals MVP, he had huge moments in the series too. And Kevin Durant was able to close it. AD, Anthony Davis is going to be the highest player on the list because he put up the best numbers and he's still efficient and he's still dominant. He just don't have the team. And I'm not using that because he did dominate against Golden State. He averaged 30 on 50 against Golden State when he made the playoffs. They were just a better team. Anthony Davis is a superstar player. He's a clutch player. He's a dominant player. The problem with him, he just don't have the great teammates. He's playing with Drew Holiday, who's always injured. He just got DeMarcus Cousins, not even for a full season, and DeMarcus Cousins can still leave after this season, which means he could be on an even worse team. So with that being said, Anthony Davis has the talent, he has the efficiency, he has the dominance, and he made it to the playoffs once. He just don't have the teammates. I know that's going to be a cop-out. I know I'm giving him a pass, but you just look at how great the player is. Two-way player, offensively dominant, defensively dominant. He just doesn't have the teammates to ascend him to a higher level. Kind of what Kevin Garnett went through. He was dominant. He was an MVP once. He led a team to playoffs multiple times, but he went to the Western Conference Finals because he had Sam and Latrell, but it was gone, and then he fell all the way back down to a rebuilding team. A team that couldn't really win, wasn't a contender. And that's what Anthony Davis is going through right now. Once he get the teammates, he made it to the playoffs. And once he get them again, if he gets some more dominant teammates or his teammates can stay healthy, he'll show that he's one of the better players in the league. He's number 5. James Harden, number 6. He went up in assists, but his efficiency went down. He was a worse three-point shooter. He was 44% from the field. Even though he averaged 29 and 11 assists, he took a lot more difficult shots. He settled more for the threes. He stopped attacking in the mid-range, and he kind of settled even going to the paint. He just became a stop and pop shooter. Instead of being an all-around kid, the best shot available, he just settled for a lot of shots in a system that opened the floor. And you would think that James Harden would be more efficient and more dominant. He went back in efficiency, but he put up more stats because the ball was in his hand more. So it's kind of like empty a little bit. But I give him number 6. 7, Russell Westbrook had a phenomenal season. I can't put him in my top 5 because he's not efficient. He embarrassed himself in the playoffs against the Rockets. He's a very low volume shooter. He's a high turnover player. He put up a lot of stats because he has the ball in his hands. And also, he does stat pad. You can go back and watch the game. I did an NBA breakdown of him before. Steven Adams didn't even try to get rebounds. They box out for Russell to get rebounds. The triple-double was a little overrated. Oscar Robertson didn't get it when he averaged a triple-double. He almost did it a couple times and still never won the MVP. And Russell should never got it over James Harden and Kawhi Leonard because they won more games and they had a better season and they got further in the playoffs. So Russell Westbrook did put up unbelievable numbers that only happened once. But then again, you can't really read, like I said about LeBron James, you can't really read too much into stats only. You have to be watching the games. And he flopped in a lot of fourth quarters. Even though he won some games, he took over some fourth quarters, he flopped in a lot of them. Chris Paul, he's been going down. He was one of my top 3 players, but he just can't stay healthy. He can still probably carry a team. He hasn't went to the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. A lot of that been due to injury because you remember they lost Blake and Chris last year. Then Blake got injured this year. So it's not really his fault that he can't stop getting injured, and it's not really his fault that Blake keep getting injured, but that does factor into how great of a player you is when they was healthy, they still never got to the Western Conference Finals, and that's fair, and I dropped them down just to be fair. John Wall, I put him up higher because he has got out the first round numerous times, twice, and he gained 1 game away from being in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he's a better defender than most point guards besides Chris Paul and Patrick Beverley. He's a great passer. He does average a lot of turnovers. That's just because he ain't a dominant scorer, but he did average 20 points and 10 assists, couple rebounds, and his team did almost win 50 games. His efficiency went up from low 40s to 45%, which is high volume scorer. And also his three-point shot is the last thing he has to improve. Once he get the three-point shot going down consistently, he will be unguardable, and he already virtually is, but that last part will make him even harder to guard. Giannis, I put him number 10 because he made it to the playoff twice. He never got out of the first round, but I couldn't put DeMarcus Cousins because he never made the playoffs. I wanted to put Jimmy Butler, but Giannis is just a better all-around player and more efficient. And he might be the better three-point shooter, but that's all I can really say. I wanted to put Karl Anthony Towns, but he never made it to the playoffs, even though he is in the West and he played with trash teammates. He's going to be in the top 10. I just can't give it to him right now. Gordon Hayward missed a lot of the season when he made it to the playoffs. It's just Giannis and Jimmy Butler and them are better than Gordon Hayward. I was going to put Paul George here, which he should be here because he did go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But his defense is not as good as Giannis, and he's not as efficient as Giannis. So I had to give it to Giannis, even though he take easier shots than Paul George. I just give it to him right now. But to me, Paul George has proven to be the better player. But right now, in this particular moment, Giannis is the better player. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, signing out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I have my website, analysisplayground.com. Like it on Facebook to show support. It'll be in the comment in the description below. Let me know your top 5 players, your top 10 players, and I have the rest of the lists and what to expect for every team for the rest of the season coming up this week in September. So make sure you subscribe.